Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. Joe, this is an ad hoc episode and we are at the Belfry on the driving range. What's going on?
Yeah, just made this up last week, didn't we? I was off on holiday, realised there was an event on about half an hour from your house. I thought, why aren't we there? So just cobbled this together, spoke to some of our friends in the equipment industry, got access to some players to do some what's in the bag stuff, which you're going to hear over the coming weeks, hopefully. I just thought it'd be a good little place to come and do.
We better do it while we're here. Actually, the main reason we're doing this is luckily we've got Marco Penge coming on today.
Last week's champion, Marco Penge.
Ryder Cup maybe, and we want this to come out today on the Friday, the British Masters, with him still S-hot, hopefully maybe leading, I don't know. But we're reactionary, Joe. We can be topical.
Listen, he's the man in form.
Yeah, and we got him.
He absolutely thumps it. It was, you know, when people say, I hear this a lot, I go, makes a different sound when he hits it, and like that gets bandied around a lot. I was doing some B-roll next to Penge.
I wasn't there to watch him hit. I'm really angry, so I'll look forward to watching this
combination between a man who can swing a 7-iron at about 110 miles an hour, flush middle striking some of the purest irons in those Mizuno Pro S3s. That to me is life. I mean, that's it for me. You know, I'm a gear man. I'm a gear man. That just thumping it. And if he's not in contention, the way he was swinging it, the form he's in, the confidence he's got, I just don't know. I don't know what life wouldn't make any sense to me if that's not happening right now.
So that's coming up at the end of the episode. We're going to do some Masterpods and some correspondence that are coming over the last week, and that's this episode. It's a bit ad hoc, it's a bit chill, but it's fresh, Joe. This is really fresh content from us. Look at us go, man.
Do you reckon people watching are seeing Matt Wallace behind me and are terrified that I might do an Ian Poulter and shout, give us a shout, Matt?
I am. I'm completely petrified. We're going to leave him to practice with his entourage, aren't we, Joe?
Or are we?
Aren't we, Joe?
Yes.
Aren't we, Joe?
Yes.
Before we come to some Masterpods and the Marco Penge, what's in the bag, let's chat about our day so far, Joe. What have you been up to? Because I ain't done anything.
Yeah, you have. Well, I think we've just generally making a nuisance of myself. We've got range access. We've been poking around a lot of bags. We've done a load of what's in the bags. We've met some really cool people, some really nice, just really nice guys. Like aside from really good players and high-end players on the European Tour, just some really pleasant people. And
some really nice guys that even when Joe makes probably the biggest clanger I think you've made to date, aren't bad about it. Nicholas Norgard, Joe. Titleist staffer who will have a what's in the bag coming up with very soon. What did you do with him?
What I did with Nicholas is ask him if he'd played a practice round, if he'd played here before, if he liked the courses, if he liked the course, which is a tricky thing to ask to the defending champion once that dawns on you that, oh God, that guy won the event last year. He was very polite about it.
Well, roll the clip, because we've got evidence of it.
Really? So you've just been out playing, or?
No, I just practiced today.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
Like the course, or you played it before, right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you did. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Talking total nonsense.
No. Yeah,
So good memories.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah. It's okay.
That's incredibly embarrassing. What a nice man for just going, yeah.
Yeah.
Not being like, oh, I'm not doing this.
Just said, yeah, like it. And they gave me a bit of a smile.
I've got some brilliant footage and I'll play it over this now of you then carrying his bag for him over to the shipping green because you felt bad.
I felt bad about that, but also just really, and we kept him behind him because he wanted to go do some chipping and we still needed to do
Yeah, we're sniffing around his bag
clubs.
like seagulls around a fishing ship.
I thought I'd better make a gesture. I'm glad I did. I don't think it's necessarily repaired all the damage, but he was a really lovely man. I tell you what, an absolute unit as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'm tall, but my goodness, he's got about a 28-inch waist and about 42-inch biceps. An absolute thumpist, big boy.
So that's happened today. That's been a lot of fun. Who else have you chatted to?
I've chatted to Riggs Johnson, Jaden Shaper, Romain Langasque. Who else? I'll tell you the physical specimen of Marco Penge as well. Maybe I'm just a bit, maybe not as body confident as I could be. Penge, what an athlete he is. He's got his quads just bursting out of his trousers. His waist's about 12 inches and he's just generating 130 miles an hour of driver speed. You should have seen some of the mini drivers he was hitting that I've got B-roll of that maybe I won't. Maybe you'll see it, maybe you don't.
Do we have it?
I took it.
Okay, we'll roll it over it then.
Cool, well, we roll it now. And they were just head height missiles screaming as they came off. I know I get a bit carried away sometimes when I see all these players, but that was a bit different. I played with, so I said it a lot, I played with a number of major champions, been really lucky over the years, like 6, 7 major champions. that was different.
That was different gravy.
That was striking. That was different.
And he's quite an exciting chap. And obviously, he won last week. He's won twice this year. And you think quite strongly he should be picked for the Ryder Cup. And did you see him? Did you get footage of it, or did you watch him chat to Luke Donald today?
No, I asked him whether there'd been any correspondence with a man called Luke. I didn't say Luke Donald. I said, if I looked on your phone, would I see any correspondence with a man called Luke? And he just went,
coy of you.
You might. So, yeah, who knows?
We saw one of the Hoy guards chatting to Donald today. Couldn't tell you which one.
I can tell him by swing. Most people can tell him by swing. Nikolai's wider and doesn't hinge it as much as the top. Rasmus hinges it and gets almost to parallel.
It's funny, when you was talking to Luke Donald, he wasn't doing practice, so I couldn't tell who he was. So I just needed him, how much width have you got?
There you go.
But what else have we seen today? I mean, just chatting about some of the equipment we've seen today, because we are at a DP World Tour event.
And we are an equipment podcast.
And we are an equipment podcast, and maybe we should talk about that. Trends, 2 R7 quads.
Yeah.
Is that a thing of note?
I don't think 2 makes a trend, is it? But it's 2 of the few players that we spoke to, so that's quite a high percentage. I've seen a lot of the 280 minis, the GT 280 minis in the Titleist bags.
Yeah.
We're going to try and have a little nose on the Strixon truck in a minute, because there's been a few sightings of Strixon mini drivers. So Ian Steele, who I know on the Strixon trucks, invited us on for a nose. So
we'll go have a
one of us keeps him talking, the other one rummages in the drawers.
Open all the drawers.
All the secret drawers that say secret do not open, we'll open them. So we'll try and get some footage from that. But yeah, it's just really cool. I've just done just some scouring as I do. And again, we say it all the time, G440 drivers in a lot of non-contracted bags.
And it was the same at Liv last year, where it was 430 at the time.
Also,
Penge seemed to creep into a lot of bags.
And the fairway wood, hugely dominated, not just by the QI10, but TaylorMade in general. QI35s all over the place. A lot of the Titleist players, a lot of the non-contract players, obviously the TaylorMade players. TaylorMade just seemed to, from a tour perspective, have that fairway category just nailed down.
The interesting one is Titleist, and our friends at Titleist, who aren't here luckily at the minute.
What are you going to say?
Well, they've set us up with their players very nicely of them, but a lot of them don't have Titleist fairways in. They've got to hope that GT1 3 Tour thing starts to pick up a bit of steam, as it did in, was it Kitayama's bag it was in?
Yeah. And we've mentioned it before, it just hasn't picked up steam for them, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad product, and I don't think it is. I've hit GT fairways, I think it's a good product, but sometimes you're just a victim of, here's one, Phil Mickelson wasn't a bad player in the 2000s.
That's a fair statement.
But he didn't win that many majors because there was a guy called Tiger Woods.
Right.
And it's almost like Titleist maybe aren't nailing that fairway because just so many people are in that. The TaylorMade product is so good in that area, so I don't think it's a bad product at all. When we spoke to Richard Mansell and all the players we speak to.
Your best mate.
My best mate.
Someone commented today.
Is Richard Mansell Joe's only mate? And I was thinking, I don't even think he likes me really, so I certainly hope not, but he's a really nice guy. But yeah, these tour players, they speak and they look at what's in each other's bags, and you see a couple of great shots and a couple of great sounding fairway woods. The next thing you know, you're plucking out their bag. Oh, that's nice. What do you think of this? Oh, yeah, it's great. And it's just it's almost like a word of mouth thing. It's really interesting how it spreads.
Yeah, again, our Titleist friends were saying that, and they're expecting Titleist double dot ball to come in at Wentworth. And they've already had a lot of interest on this side of the pond for guys wanting to test it. And to their point, it's like they see Cam Young with it, they hear DeChambeau's testing it. They're all gear nerds at heart like we are, and people listening and watching.
Well, I heard DeChambeau's testing a triple left dot, isn't he?
Yeah, which is
super incredible.
That would be quite cool. How many dots can they do?
Don't know.
Dot all the way around the ball soon, won't
and then you don't need the alignment aid either.
It's just all the dots.
The other thing I've seen more and more of that stuck out to me today is older product still. I know we. Yeah,
what have you seen that's a bit old?
I've seen a lot of TSR3 drivers.
Yeah.
Even though GT is incredibly popular and winning a lot of the counts, I've seen did Romain Langasque, stealth driver in his bag.
Love that from him.
Stealth plus fairway.
Matt Wolff-esque.
Matt Wolff-esque indeed in terms of the irons. He had P760s in his longer irons as well. I hope I'm going to put it on when we use Langasque. For a WITB at the end of one of the pods, another pod, but it'd be cool to put up now. There was a shot I kept asking him about, because when I was researching his bag before doing this, there was a picture of him on the first tee at Royal Port Rush. You know, out of bounds left, out of bounds right, everyone's chipping 2 irons. He's there with driver, but he's got his, I'll put it up, he's got his fingers nearly on the graphite at the bottom of the grip.
Wow.
So he's hitting this choke down punch drive that he calls, in his French accent, He's my baby driver.
Oh,
He's my baby driver.
that's kind of sexy.
So he's his baby driver. And he just, all 4 days, just drilled his little low baby driver. His caddy's trying to talk him into getting the 2-iron into the bag. And he's like, why would I put 2-iron? I got my baby driver.
My baby driver.
Which I loved about him. And he was lovely, my baby driver. So I'm going to try and learn to hit my baby driver. Yeah, really nice. Just a really cool guy. I liked him a lot.
Oh, I've lost my train of thought now. Baby driver.
Bonjour, Rodney. That was just French.
I've literally lost my train of thought now. What were we talking about?
Talking about old equipment.
Things we spotted.
What have you spotted? You kept talking about spider. You've seen a lot
Obsessed
of
with
spider.
spider putters. I am, because I've got one and I want to be validated by that. But was it?
It's
it
one
was
of the few.
Riggs's.
You like
Riggs
did you?
Johnston's was pretty felt like you could pick it off a
No,
shelf.
You're thinking of Jaden Schaefer.
I'm thinking of Jaden Schaefer. I
So
always mix
Jaden
those
didn't
two up.
have any, famously you always do that. Jaden doesn't have any alignment aids whatsoever, does he? He had a pure black crown, slant neck, hosel, but had a white insert in the face to contrast with the black head because he uses that leading edge. So when he sees a little bit of loft, he finds that easier to line up. You thought that was quite basic. I thought that looked a bit too saucy.
Did you think? Well, I think it's because it had the absolute stock Superstroke grip on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
He's
from,
picked that up from the
American.
shop.
That's from American Golf, Sutton Coldfield. That one. But I guess without that alignment aid, couldn't stand the look without the alignment aid.
Really?
I'd be so scared.
Be lost.
I need my true path alignment. But Spider's just.
It's one of the
feels
few,
huge at the minute.
It's one of the few periods in time where there's a lot of, like, people used to use tailor-made products in putter if they had to, if they were staff players, it was in their contract. Now there's an awful lot of non-contracted players in Spider product just because they've got some really, I mean, the physics of it, the high MOI, the forgiveness of the product is exceptional, but also, despite Jaden Schaefer and his subtle non-alignment stuff, the True Path is such an easy alignment aid. I love it. You love it, don't you?
I love it. So yeah, that's what I've seen today. What else as I turn around?
Got Marcel Seam over there wearing his cap backwards.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. What else? It's quite busy today. So we're here on the Tuesday, and this is the best day to be here, I think, as media, because the Pro-Am's tomorrow and it'll be chaos. The players have just got on here. They all want to practice. There's been a nice buzz around the range of people catching up and hitting balls and staring at people hitting balls.
Also, not doing live down, but we can hear ourselves think here.
Oh, thank God for that, yeah.
We haven't got house music thumping in our ears.
Not getting our videos demonetised because there's Kasabian in the background.
Smashing some tunes out. Yeah, it's a really nice vibe, and we've got a few more to come actually.
We've got a good day. So we've got
WITBs to do.
So we're going to give you Marco Penge today, and we've banked, I don't know, at least 5 already,
6,
and we'll bring these over the next months and weeks. So thank you for your correspondence over the last couple of weeks. I'm picking out a couple that I should have mentioned on the batch we recorded last time, but the first one, Joe, is more of a comment before we get to the question this week, from Munro Barkley Miller.
Which raised a titter from you. You felt he might be the wealthiest man in the world.
I think he might be our wealthiest listener.
Welcome, Munro. If you are interested in independently sponsoring a podcast,
that man must have generational wealth.
I think he has, yeah. The Kickpoint podcast in association with Munro Barkley Miller.
We're not taking the mick too much, I hope. Anyway, thank you for getting in touch.
What's he got to say?
Evening, fellas. Currently watching Joe's What's in the Bag video, and it reminded me to get in touch with you. Go watch that, by the way. Joe loves that video, don't you? Because you felt really comfortable doing it.
Really comfortable, yeah.
It's been a while since this came up, but I wanted to reignite the conversation that the shoe companies don't want us having. Ooh, that's a good headline, that. Might do a piece on that.
Just to interrupt before you go on with this one, there's a Nike tour van.
Eh?
On site. What are they doing in there? Is it shoes? Just
ain't
beyond the
anything
Callaway,
else, is it?
Just beyond the Callaway. But have you got a whole tour track dedicated on the DP World Tour to Nike shoes? And do you think it's
Should we go in? Should we go in?
We'll have a knock. Yeah, we'll have a knock. We'll find that. We'll put some B-roll up.
Okay. Well, thanks for that interjection, Joe.
You're more than welcome.
It's been a while since this came up. I want to reignite the conversation shoe companies don't want us having. It's about how your golf shoes can seriously affect your swing. I've been playing FootJoy Traditions for a while, but upgraded, or so I thought.
Talk me through FootJoy Traditions. Hang on. Where's that sit with Premiers?
It's like the older ones, the Premiers, I think.
No.
No.
Premiers, then Traditions, then Classics?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That's your lineage there.
Yeah, okay.
And he's moved to the Premiers. As someone who's 6'2", brackets 188 centimetres, thank you. The added heel height bumped me to over 190 centimetres and completely threw off my swing. You've mentioned this sort of thing before, and I can confirm it is most certainly real. After several rounds and a lesson, it became clear the Premiers had me far too on my toes, throwing off my balance and destroying my game. Need more proof, I hear you say?
We need more proof, Munro.
I don't know Munro. I happened to buy some irons that were half an inch too long, don't ask, and couldn't hit them at all. Then I had an idea. I decided to try them in the premiers. And to no one's surprise, suddenly I was flushing everything. Funny how a few extra millimeters can make or break a swing. I rest my case. Best, Munro, a keen listener who clearly has way too much time in his hands. Munro's words, not mine.
Well, Munro, with your generational wealth, probably retired at 8 years old, so he's got a lot of time on his hands. You're absolutely right. That's
So
kind of
fascinating to hear that from somebody else.
It's a genuine thing, and that's really good proof of it. And it does make me chuckle that Munro's knocking about, potentially with a set of irons that only work with his premiers and a set that work with
So it sounds like to me he accidentally bought those irons that were half an inch too long, and then they just suddenly worked with these shoes that had him off the deck. But
Correct.
you probably, and we spoke about, I think when this conversation came up, it's like get fitted in the shoes you play in predominantly. Don't switch too much between shoes that have massive differences in their heel height. More companies than not, I believe, list it. Since I did that first statement, that podcast, I actually went on some of their websites, and some of the more techier shoe brands will have the heel drop in there. So if you know what shoe you like, find the heel drop number of that.
Is it just heel that's important though? Do you like some not thicker in the overall across
The overall
across the
midsole, yeah, potentially. But I think if you look at a Premier Series as an example, which does have that raised heel, just be careful you don't go to something with a really raised heel. And I think the Premier Series stands out as the one that has that little
because
bit
it's
up the end of
twofold,
the
isn't it?
heel.
It's not just like Munro saying there. That's kind of tipped his balance points more onto his heel. So it's a balance point.
No, it's toe.
Onto his toe, sorry, yeah. So it's a balance point that's affecting his technique.
So now he's too over the
But
too over the ball.
Yeah, but also then, so that's just affecting his technique. But also then the knock-on effect of that
Yes.
is that his equipment has become ill-fitting as well.
Which is crazy, isn't it?
But it's 100% true. We've seen nothing. We've seen, like, we've got tour reps behind us. We've got Dominic from Penge doing some work with Matt Wallace there, going into granular detail I've been listening to. And all of a sudden, you're just going to go, well, that's perfect. Okay, I'm just going to go and change shoes to something half inch bigger. It's like, that's mental.
Yeah.
So it is a real thing, and we need to be vigilant.
Be vigilant, guys. Wear the right shoes. So thank you, Munro.
Or Munro will get you.
Thank you, Munro Barkey Miller, for kind of backing that up, because I think when we first had the conversation, I was like, this is hogwash. But no, it's real. It's a real thing,
Have you ever met
guys.
another Munro?
No.
It's the only Munro I've ever come across. I like that name.
There we go. Thank you, Munro. We appreciate you listening and you emailing. Next one, Joe, before the question is, this came into our inbox with FAO Joe, brackets retro porn. So this is good.
Which was alarming.
A little bit on the work email.
Yeah. I thought it was
Noted
from the IT department.
Roy Pinney, this is from, by the way. Thank you, Roy, for
Met a
noting
few Roys.
that. Yeah, plenty of Roys. I hope it's him against you. Been inspired by the retro club talk, and I set about building myself a sub 250 bag to use midweek. First,
£250.
yes.
Yeah, cool. Well, you just said 250.
I said pounds.
No, you didn't. You said
Roll-
sub 250.
Roll the tape.
Carry on.
I was right. First time in well over 20 years, I haven't been a member anywhere, so rather than chasing a handicap target, I'm now chasing fun. Only caveat is the clubs must have been on the pro shop rack as I was growing up. Being born in 1988, this puts me in the 2000 to 2010 sweet spot. I've been picking up various bits and bobs between 20 and 50 quid, and this is the current bag. What would you do for the 250 budget?
Okay.
Bonus points for the period head covers. We will flash these images up now. Full perspective, I game a Black Ops driver. This is his main set.
Yeah.
Triple Diamond Paradigm 3-wood, ping irons, Glide Pro wedges, and an LA Golf putter. So each of these items is close to being worth more than the whole attached bag.
Correct.
I have a Cobra 414 comp driver en route. 414 comp? What does it mean amp?
I don't know.
414 comp driver, let us know. To sit alongside the 6.5 degree gravity back I have in the garage.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what any of these
These are
things
just
mean.
words, aren't they, to you?
And the Nike E-Ignite 410. All I need to do now is find like-minded people to level the field out a bit, keep up the good work. And here is the image, Joe. Oh, and I'll flash this up for everyone who's watching as well. Have a little goose at that.
High quality, so he's got 975D. Oh no, the 975F in the fairway wood by the looks of things. I think it might be a D.
Before we recorded.
I think it's a 975D. He's got a white hot Phil Mickelson blade,
Yes.
Cleveland wedges, some DCI irons. I haven't zoomed in far enough here to get in detail. Yeah, this is a man who's invested some time and thought in that.
Well,
like that a lot.
What I like is the premise of having more fun, Joe.
Exactly.
And not chasing handicap. I'm going, I want some clubs from my youth, and I want to have a fun time.
We've been through this, haven't we? Like, fitting, primarily people use it as a tool to optimize their performance. And we hear that, optimize this, optimize that. Optimize your fun sometimes. Do this.
Optimize your life.
Optimize your life. Remember that guy I said to you, the old boy who wanted Muir irons because he knew he couldn't hit them, but he just wanted that one shot around that made him feel cool, all for it, do it. If that's what you're after, just work out what you want from it.
Yeah, love it. So thanks for sending that in, Roy. And any more retro porn, feel free to send it to the work email address that we have given you, kickpointpodcast@futurenet.com. Our boss is on that chain. That could be quite funny. Right, the actual Ask the Pod this week, Joe, is from Daniel Taylor. Hi guys, long time listener, first time caller, insert correct phrase. Just want to say I loved the interview with Adrian. We had a
load of feedback on that. He was just brilliant, wasn't he?
So good.
That was rare gold dust moment. You get to speak to someone who's worked that closely with someone who's proving to be a generational talent. That's really interesting.
If you've just found this podcast and want to go back, please go back to the Adrian episode and the Chris Trott episode from last week. They're,
Different
I think,
vibes.
your best works to date.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Anyway, my question is, are hybrids dead? Or
Just
is it
seen another R7 quad.
what, walking around?
Mini driver, and it's over there in the bag. Is that Guido?
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
I'm looking at?
He's got the original head cover on it as well.
Yeah, love it. Carry on.
Can I get a word in edgeways here?
Sorry, everyone.
My question is, Joe, stop looking around.
It is Guido.
Hey.
His question is,
are hybrids dead, or is it just the hype around higher lofted fairway woods? It may be anecdotal, but I don't seem to see many hybrids in tour players' bags anymore. What a better place to be able to talk about this. Personally, I prefer my 4 hybrid to my 7 wood, Titleist TS2 versus TaylorMade M6, and I often rotate a TS2 5 hybrid. I've got something to say about that, in and out of the bag. Maybe I'm just being tight, and it's because there was only a few 9 woods knocking around on eBay that I can't get one. Many thanks, Daniel Taylor. Thank you for that.
I think my answer to this was going to be different before some of the WITBs we've done today.
We saw a hybrid today.
We've seen several. Norgard.
Yeah, your best
Jaden
mate.
Schaefer. Norgard's defending champion, that you know.
Don't you know?
Jaden Schaefer, I think, no, I just saw Ewan Ferguson, he had 7 wood in the bag instead. I think we've had 3 out of the 6 podcasts we've done, 50% have had hybrid in, and that's not representative of tour.
More than I thought.
Yeah, that's not, I don't think that's fully represented. I think we picked a few hybrid guys. So I think dead is the wrong word. Certainly dwindling usage. There's been a lean towards more lofted fairway woods. We've seen 7 and 9 woods knocking around a lot more, and again, I've spoken about it before. My take on that, and having spoken to a lot of the tour reps who've been great with some information, just the more time you can drag some mass and structure further away from the face, you're creating stability. Remember that thing I always say to you about if I tried to push you over with your feet together, you're quite easy and unsteady to push over. If I let you put your leg back behind you to stabilise,
I'm going to stay up.
Dragging that MOI, it's
man.
going to be harder to do. So people valuing that stability and the safety net on off-centre hits, I'd say, yeah, dead is wrong, but certainly dwindling.
And Adrian said he thinks it's indicative of the way PGA Tour venues are set up. Over here, Joe, we're doing a podcast.
Well, I've just seen friend of the pod, Richard Mansell, but that's fine.
Should get one.
Indicative.
No, for goodness sake, stop shouting at people. Indicative of the way PGA Tour courses are set up, that they need these things out of the rough a little bit more, and they're just flying it in from along further away.
Romain, my other friend, my French friend.
Little baby driver. Does he have a little baby fairway with?
He has a little baby fairway wood that he said when he's.
Can we do that?
Sometimes
Can you do that to
I don't
French
think
people?
so. When he's chopping it out of, when he's just in a bad line, he just needs to advance it any sort of distance. He said, when I try it with an A-time, I can get it out. It's lovely, but it goes out and it just sort of stops.
Flubs.
He said I can get the same kind of loft at it, but with more swing speed from my little baby fairway wood.
But I always thought that was what a hybrid's job was, to cut through the turf. And I in my head, the smaller but thicker than an iron, sort of, especially the teardrop shapes of a GT3 hybrid, for example, I thought that would go through turf better. Why is a bigger, deeper fairway wood?
I'm interested to see
Is
the
it because
slow-mo of it.
they've got the club head speed and maybe we don't?
So maybe got the speed and
I don't.
to move that mass through there more, but also, I guess think about it, potentially if it's got a wider, flatter sole, you may be covering more grass before you get into the ball and flattening down more of that grass. You're
to
removing,
access the ball.
You're increasing your access to the ball potentially. But yeah, he said and again, like greens are firmer, pins are tucked tighter. So having that descent angle, which we know all about from our T series iron fitting, where all they spoke about was increasing that descent angle. It's getting more and more critical as greens get firmer, pins get more tucked. If you can get it coming down steeper, you're going to access more pin positions.
And speaking of the Titleist fitting, my new Titleist clubs have arrived from our time out in Carlsbad, which included, Joe, a 5 hybrid and I'm fine with that. How about that?
There's nothing wrong with it. I think
I don't like. Be honest, I don't like having it's an ego thing. I've got a 5 hybrid in the bag now, and the reason I've got it is because during my fitting, the 5 iron with the T250 could get the same spin and launch and apex as my 7 iron, but I couldn't get the 4 iron.
Yeah.
But we had to fill that gap between my 5 iron and my 7 wood.
But it isn't that you can't hit it. You had the ability to strike it.
But it's going chest height.
But it's going flatter. So all you're doing is reacting to your set of cards. You can keep your ego if you want and just shoot higher scores, or you can go and get a club that's dealing with the set of issues that you've got, and that's really sensible. I'd be really interested to see how you get on with that.
Yes, I've only had out 1 round so far. So.
But also, and again, all of these times we come to these events and see different things, you kind of dispel certain myths of like everything has to be neat, everything has to be uniform. A hybrid would own, in my mind, the very high speed players struggle with hybrids because they're a little bit more volatile from a CG point of view. But maybe the highest swing speed player we've interviewed, Nicholas Norgard, who's the defending champ, by the way, he had a hybrid in the bag, and he's about as strong as it gets. However, and what you tend to see there is a lot of people fear that left with hybrid.
They have a left bias.
He'd counteracted that with more weight in the toe, which was news to him, by the way.
Was it?
There was 11 grams in the toe.
What, like it was news to you that he's defending champion?
Correct, yeah. So we were both learning on the job. So that's absolutely fine. He didn't know about his hybrid. I'd forgotten he won. So that's absolutely fine. But yeah, he's one of the highest speed players in the field using a hybrid, which doesn't make that much sense to me. You've got things like Langaston, his little baby driver. He also had a 3 iron and a 4 iron, just exactly the same length, because I said, oh cool, what was the thing? He said, I just got my 3 iron out one day, thought that's too long. So I took it to the truck and they cut it down to the same length as the 4 iron.
Here's one for you.
Go on.
A little bit off topic. I've been fanning around my drive with my shafts in my house between my clubs, and I'd accidentally put my 7 wood shaft in my 3 wood and had no idea until I came to wanting to switch my old 7 wood shaft out for something a bit heavier, and I was like, oh sugar. And I was flushing this 3 wood, and I didn't want to take it out, but I wanted this heavier shaft in my 7 wood. Yeah. So I put the longer one back in my 3 wood. I cannot hit it for love nor money, so I might just keep. Is that okay? Can I 100%, do that?
Because what you've done there is inadvertently, I mean, you've gone down in length probably at least an inch to an inch and a half,
maybe. It's an inch, I think. It's quite a lot.
But what's great about that is that's already factored in because your 7 wood shaft would have been heavier.
Yes.
So you're not going to lose too much. So it's actually a really good thing.
I love it.
The 2 things I would implore most club recreational golfers to try, or the 2 most common things I ever saw when I was fitting recreational golfers quite regularly, 70 to 80% were playing equipment that's too heavy for them, so iron shafts that are too heavy, and that's a legacy from the 70s, 80s, where all the irons on the shelf in the shop would have had S300s in them. It was like, there was one shaft, it was dynamic gold, it was R300, S300 or X100.
And that's your lot.
All about 125 grams to 130 grams, and that was it.
Yeah.
But if you were weak, you had to go in the R's, but it was still 125 grams.
Yeah.
And there's still legacy of that, and so many people are just in shafts 110 to 130 grams that would experience so much better performance and enjoy the process of hitting the golf ball more in 70, 80 gram shafts, and they're really stable. So there's so many people I would implore to try lighter shafts in their irons. And the other thing, drivers and 3 woods. There's not many people I see at club level who don't benefit from going down an inch.
I'm going to keep that 7 wood shaft.
Why don't we go and hassle the people on the ping truck?
I might, yeah, because I need my 7 wood shaft to be heavier though. We'll talk about it. Anyway, fascinating. Daniel, we've gone off your question. Are hybrids dead? No.
Are they dwindling?
Yes.
On tour, yes.
In the bags of average Joe, probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
Probably not.
And you can't get a 9 wood, probably not. It's a baby driver.
It's a baby driver.
And you probably can't get a 9 wood in the used market yet, but give it.
What do you mean in the retail market? You can get 9 woods.
The used market.
Oh, the used
second-hand market, which is what he said. He's like, oh, I'm looking out to maybe replace it.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Give it a year. You distracted again?
Yeah, we've got Ewan Ferguson coming here.
Oh, do we?
Ewan. Yeah, good.
Well, should we cut here and then we can do this and then we can.
No, I think Ewan's going to talk about some shoes, aren't you, Ewan?
No.
No? Oh, he's just got some shoes.
I need some shoes for a week, but I'm not done right now.
Okay, cool.
We can do if you need.
Right, so what are we going to do? We're going to roll the Marco Penge. What's in the bag?
Roll Marco Penge.
Right, special treat. We've got last week's winner with us. We've got Marco Penge. You look like a very happy man, am I right?
You are indeed. Yeah, over the moon. on cloud 9 really.
What a week for you, sort of life-changing stuff. We've got a few juniors here, so apologies for any noise coming in here. We've got a little bit of moving parts. But we're going to delve into your bag and see what propelled you to victory and what's been helping you play so well. So, Mizuno staff player, right? How long have you been with Mizuno?
I think this is my 4th year now. So yeah, built a really nice relationship with them, and they've been great since day one really.
Do you know, I mean, I'm going to chat to them about this separately, but as a very high-speed player, so you're the sort of the top 1% of the 1%, right? Is it difficult for them, and there's stuff they have to do differently for your equipment than some of the other players who don't have quite the speed?
I think so. My lofts in my irons are pretty strong. The shafts are kind of hard stepped, kind of a lot of tweaking around. It's quite fine margins to get it right. So yeah, all credit to them for my success really.
Are you someone who takes a lot of interest in the equipment side? Are you a bit of a gear guy, or you kind of let them get on with it and you just play what you're told?
Kind of let them get on with it. I obviously have my feelings and pretty self-aware of when something's not quite right. But they're the professionals at that, so I kind of stay out of the way and leave them to it.
Good decision, seems to be working well. Yeah. So we're in an older driver, so in the STX. Now this, the 230 STX, this had like a slight draw bias to it, was sort of designed to help shape the ball a little bit. What's your thought? How did you end up here out of all the drivers we've tested?
I think it's just, that's the first driver I had with Mizuno, and it's just been great since I've had it really. Predominantly, I shape the ball predominantly left to right off the tee, slowly trying to draw the ball more. But again, that's another place that's really tough for me with the speed. I'm trying to, with my speed, keeping the spin down with a fade is quite key because I hit that shot a lot. But then when I've got that in a good place, it's then hard to turn the ball right to left. So it's just finding the balance really.
So is that why, if you're predominantly left to right off the tee and that seems to be your stock shot, is that why we've introduced mini driver further down? Is that something you can turn over a little bit easier? Yeah,
something I can turn right to left with ease, yeah. I can move, I can barely hit a cut with that mini driver. It's, it's kind of stock shot moves 10, 15 yards right to left, whereas a stock shot with driver moves 10, 15 yards left to right. So got a nice little balance there between the two, and at times I'd like to be able to draw it with driver, but you can't wish for too much.
Can't have everything, can you? So shaft wise, we're in quite meaty shafts. We're in Ventus, is it Black T? Yeah, it is Black TR 7X, are quite heavy. So again, matching up with your speeds, I guess you need stability here. Do you know stuff? Would you take an interest in kind of how much they're tipped, things like that? Do you know that kind of stuff?
Kind of leave it to the guys. Yeah, leave it to the guys.
But just something very, very strong. Grip-wise, you're in a Golf Pride tall velvet.
Couple of layers.
Round, 2 layers of tape. Is that the same throughout the set?
Same throughout, yeah.
Always been the same?
I used to be the multi-compound up until last year. Then my hands were getting torn apart. I think it's multi-compound, the Golf
Bit more
ones.
cord, yeah, so just a bit rougher.
So I've gone to these just as it's a bit easier on the hands.
When you're practicing a lot, right, yeah. Okay, cool, so down into mini drive now. This area of your bag, I've sort of looking at a bit earlier in the year, and it seems to be the one bit that sort of does chop and change a bit. You might have mini, and I saw you with a more standard 3-wood at one point. I saw you at one tournament with just driver, 1 iron, 2 irons, and no fairway woods at all.
Yeah.
How does that sort of process formulate of what you're going to put in the bag? Does that change week to week, or do you feel like you're in a settled place now?
I'm in a settled place now. The reason why it used to chop and change a lot is because I'm no good with a 3-wood, to be honest. I've never had kind of confidence in hitting a 3-wood off the tee, so I've been so confident with my 2 iron and my driver, it's kind of been a bit of a hole in my bag in a way. And I did a bit of experimenting with the mini driver, and it's been awesome since I've had it. So yeah, it's filled a really nice gap in the bag. It's in there to draw basically.
Do you hit it off the deck much, or is it more of a?
Yeah, you're pretty versatile in that way. You can hit different flights with it. The spin rate's really consistent. But like I said, it's mainly in the bag to move the ball right to left when I need to. So I like to hit driver a lot. So yeah, it only really comes out if a hole doesn't suit driver really. We
were discussing tactics for this week off camera, weren't we?
Yeah.
The word full send was used a couple of times, so we could be there. Same shaft, as in profile, as in driver, just going up in weight into the 8X Ventus Black TR. So again, really stable product. Nothing on the loft sleeve, just playing standard loft at 13.5. Yeah. Cool. Then we go into this 2 on. I saw a couple of ludicrous shots last week in Denmark with this, driving par 4s with 2 irons over trees. How long has this been in, and what do you love about it? So we've got the fly high in the black finish, hybrid shaft 10TX Ventus Black.
It's I mean, before I was any good, I'd say I couldn't really keep the ball on the planet in the past. So this was like a big replacement for driver when driver wasn't behaving in my earlier days. Now it's, yeah, you know, I still use it when driver's misbehaving, but it's very, again, can hit different flights with it. I would never go away from having a 2-iron in my bag. It's kind of quite a big asset of mine. And
I saw 173 ball speed off one of those.
I said to my caddy after I hit it, I said, that's all I've got.
Yeah.
And then to see it after on video was pretty cool. It was actually quite cool scrolling down the comments with people.
That was a joke.
Some people saying it can't be 175, blah, blah, blah. But it was, so.
I was watching, I know it is, I'm absolutely certain it is. So moving then into the irons, I think you've got the best looking set of irons in the game today. So you've got the Pro S3s from Mizuno, you've got a nice little bit of custom stamping on the toe.
Yeah.
And you said shaft wise, we're in the KBS V10 130 hard stepped as well, right?
Yeah.
Just purely to cope with your speed?
Keep the spin down, yeah. Spin's always been a big issue for me. I actually, funnily enough, last week I tweaked my lofts 2 degrees weaker before the week.
So you're saying they've generally been pretty strong against
3-4 degrees strong.
So you've gone weaker, but you're still strong to standard, if you like.
Yeah, still strong to standard, but yeah, it was quite a bold decision last week to weaken them. But I was seeing things in there that, you know, I was struggling to kind of hit a nice high tower and long iron. In the shorter, you know, pitching wedge 9-iron was tough to take distance out of it. So had a little experiment really last week for kind of next year playing in America. I'm trying to get ready for that really and keep the ball higher into the firmer green. So yeah.
When you've gone as much as like 3-4 degrees strong, do you notice any difference in the offset? Because obviously when you're taking loft off, you tend to put more offset on. B, you can take bounce off as well. Do you notice any difference in turf interaction, or have they kind of countered that?
I used to use the blades, and that's the reason I went to these, was because of the turf interaction. I was losing the bounce, especially with the stronger setup. Apparently my irons are pretty offset already. I don't really have it's kind of what I see as standard. So I don't notice anything too.
You get used to what you see, don't you? If you've been playing stronger lofts and they've been nudged more offset, you get used to it.
Yeah, these have been awesome. The boys last week obviously did a great job leading into the week and prepped really well. Who
does that come from then when you just decided to weaken them up? Is it you decided, you just saw some stuff and you took them on the trek, or do they monitor that with you?
I think it could be a mix of both, but last week was more me saying to Joe at Mizuno that I said to him, look, I want to do some experimenting with making my lofts weaker. You know, I've improved so much this year in terms of shots that I'm able to hit now. I can grip down it, I can take speed out of it. So I don't have to fight spin as much as I used to. Before, everything used to be a bit flat out and just wasn't quite as good. So I said to him, look, if we could, I want help from the irons to get the ball in the air. I can take fly out of it if I want to. So yeah, we just made the gapping in the bag a lot more consistent really. Kind of 3-4 degrees throughout rather than 3 in some areas and 5-6 degree gap in another area.
Certainly seemed to pay off last week then. Into wedges, so we go into Vokeys SM10s. We've got 50, 56 and 60. So we're in a fairly standard full sole F grind in the 50. We've got the M grind at 08 and 56 and the K star grind, which we're seeing a lot of. It looks like it's had a bit of extra work as well. Yeah. What do you like to see in your wedges? And are you someone who kind of chops and changes wedges depending on course? And
yeah, I change the 60 a lot. I use the K star and the A plus, I think it's called.
Yeah, I saw you tossing the A plus out before we came over.
I've had the back worn off a lot out of them both because I play everything pretty open. I'm not one that plays chips like square face, so I like to open the face up. Just find when the ground gets too firm, I kind of get like I could fat it, but not from a leading edge, more from the back of the bounce. Okay. So we've had that worn off, yeah, and it's been a big improvement in my game.
At what stage do you make the decision? So we're on the practice ground here with a couple of lob wedges in the bag. You're presumably going out to play in a little while. Is it you're going to take them both out and hit a few shots around the greens with each and then, or do you kind of, having played a few of these courses before, you kind of, I guess you've got an idea of what might be in? Yeah.
Excuse me, I have a pretty rough idea from the off really. It's not so much in the pitching, it's all about around the green for me. So, like I said, I play a lot of my chip shots open face. So 56, I kind of turn into a 58, 60 anyway. But as soon as I hit 1 or 2 chips, I kind of know whether I need something grinding down or whether I need the other kind of option.
And that's more turf for you than sand, or do you factor that in as well?
More turf, but sand does come into it. But it depends, again, you know, how often do I think I'm going to be in a bunker around the greens? You know, how often am I going to be hitting off tight fairway? Is it mainly rough? So it's kind of
got to weigh it
weighing
all out,
up
right?
the options of what the priority is.
And shaft-wise in the wedges, so we've got 7.0 Project X in a lob wedge. So a lot of people tend to go softer down the bag when they're taking speed off. Is that just a weight thing for you? Or?
Yeah, I think so. You know, again, I leave the lads to it. That's a wedge shaft in that one. The 50's got my iron shaft in.
So 50's got iron shaft in, the 56 has got a wedge version of the Project X, 7.0 still in terms of flex, and the 60's just got a stock Project X 7.0.
I mean, like I said, I don't know enough about it, or it's kind of like, you know, my clubs would be the last thing to blame in a way, so it's kind of, unless I'm seeing something really strange, it's the majority of the time it's me. So, but yeah, like I said, the bounce on the wedges are the main thing in that area of the game. The irons for me is, you know, the leading edge again, interaction with the turf, loss, spin rates, being consistent. I'll probably do a bit of that today with the lads. Was a little bit unsure on last week whether I took too much loft out of it, or added too much loft, sorry. I just need them to clarify that for me.
Cool, interesting. And finally, onto putter. So I've seen you dabbling. I love this one. This is a bit of tour sauce. Yeah. I saw you've been in some more blade style putters. You switched over to a mallet style putter. So we've got the Scotty Cameron Circle T T5.2, one little alignment line on the leading edge. Yeah. What do you love about this? Other than it keeps going in right now.
Yeah, no, I love the top line really. The top line's a big one for me. You know, I was loving the blade. I was using the Super Rat, which is pretty cool. You know, nice, good looking bit of kit, and putted great with the Super Rat, but it had a line on the back and then a dot on top, whereas this has got the line on the top, so it sits flush with my line on the ball. So that's the main reason why I'm using that over the blade at the moment, but I'm one that can chop and change with my putter, more from a comfort standpoint.
And ball-wise, so someone who spins the ball an awful lot, do you try and control that with ball as well?
Again, you know, last year, stronger irons, stronger loss, was using the left dot. Everything was towards low launch, low spin. Made some technical changes with my coach this year, able to hit more variety of shots. I'm kind of seeing myself go back. You know, now I'm in the 25V, which is similar to the left dot, but not as low launching. And then obviously again with the irons, making them weaker. Everything at the minute is kind of going towards spin. Yeah, so I think that's a good sign for me that I'm doing the right things. But predominantly as a high-speed player, spin is the issue majority of the time. It's just trying to find that balance.
Just for me, you said something earlier about back when I wasn't very good, and I've improved. Like, I just want to know for me here, what does that look like? And so you said you've just made some technical changes, so presumably some swing mechanic stuff. Then you said you're better at hitting partial shots now. Is it just like the whole package? How did that come about? Did you sort of assess yourself and go, this isn't it, here's where I need to go?
Yeah, you know, after I had a break, I sat down with my short game coach, who's now teaching me for everything, Alex Buckner. I said to him,
mentioned Alex on the pod a couple of times, great short game coach.
Yeah, right? He's awesome. I felt like before this year I was only kind of at 25% of my potential, and something that was really bugging me. You know, I know I can hit grip down shots, I know I can hit knockdown shots, but I couldn't do it consistently under pressure, and that's something that I wasn't going to accept for this year. And we put tons of work in trying to gain them 1% and get good at everything. I don't want to be known to be this guy that just hits it far. I want to be known as an all-round player and that can win anywhere. So that's been the main goal, to be honest. Everything's working towards that. So yeah, just more control, moving the ball left to right, right to left, bring the spin down. Being good with my numbers in, you know, I'm inside 150. I use the stats, Eduardo Molinari for stats. So every week sitting down, going through them, and yeah, it's just a massive work in environment, to be honest. And we spoke about my stats before last week about how inside 150 I don't hit it close enough.
Okay.
My proximity is pretty good, but I don't hit it close enough.
Which I guess is pretty key for you, because the way you drive the ball, you're going to be inside that number a lot. And then
it's the opposite. Outside of 180, I short side myself too much. So we were kind of game plan was kind of like doing the same misses with everything. It wasn't like dispersed, like going further away from the flag as we got further away. So last week we decided from 150 and in to go at the flags, and then outside of 170 to just hit the green or the flat side of the green. That was our plan, and we did that really well last week. And
You're not kidding, yeah.
Yeah, it's just all the work behind the scenes really is paying off, and it's really nice for my team to get that reward as well as me, because without them I wouldn't be where I am today.
Mate, you're becoming one of the most popular players on the tour. People love watching you, people love clipping up your bombs and seeing that. It's been a great season so far, hoping for a really big end to the season, because there's a couple of big events on the horizon maybe.
That's it.
Marco Penge.
We'll see.
Well, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that interview. Sorry for the slightly abrupt entry to the Marco Penge WITB, but Ewan Ferguson, as you would have seen if you're watching, just walked straight into shot. I don't know if the folks, but I don't know if the folks who were listening will have understood that, because he wasn't mic'd up. So if you were just listening, what happened at the end of that chaos is Ewan Ferguson, who we just interviewed, walked straight into shot with a pair of shoes.
I think it was my fault, because I saw him coming from behind.
And you hollered at him.
And I sort of like, oh look, Ewan Ferguson's coming, which made him think, oh, they're ready for the what's in the bag. Yeah. But he didn't realise we were just in the middle of filming the pod.
I can't wait to
watch that. That's cool. I enjoyed that. Much fun.
And the Marco Penge WITB, I hope that was brilliant. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, where were you at that point? You were making a call, weren't you?
Oh, I was doing some other nonsense I didn't need to be doing.
No, he's brilliant. Lovely guy.
Yeah, and will he be in that Ryder Cup team?
I certainly hope so. I'd love to see him at Bethpage. I think he's a real unknown quantity. The Americans wouldn't know much about him. And
he could be the Ludwig of 2 years ago, coming in hot on a hot streak. Bit of a youngish phenom who
the
bombs
machine off the tee, yeah.
You said to me yesterday when we were chatting about this that the stats will suggest that him being able to bomb it will really be useful, and Eduardo Molinari loves stats. I reckon he'll be all over the Marco Penge.
I mean, that is a lot of speculation. I'm basing that on.
Yeah, but it sounds right.
The US often set up big ballparks,
right,
that favour just sending it.
Yeah.
Even though statistically, I don't think that's necessarily the case anymore. I think the Europeans have really. There was a time when the Europeans were just known as little short, straight pokers. Your Luke Donald, your Poulters, people like that. But now we've got a team full of Rorys, the Højgaards,
whichever one rocks up.
There's proper hitters in there. So,
but that was cool to get someone who just won on the podcast the week after. Look at us. Look at us go. Hey. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this impromptu pod, not our normal stuff, but back in the studio next week with Retief Goosen, which I have now watched and was really good because he builds his own clubs.
Okay, cool.
He's a fascinating man.
Yeah,
so it's a really good WITB next week.
Excellent.
Cool. Okay, well that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Well done, Joe. Good work today, you.
Tough day. Good stint.
If you've seen my arm, I'm sorry. I've got to cut my arm and it's all gone horrible. If I'm alive next week, we'll see you next week.
Bye.